Talk about leaving your run for the line until the last possible moment. Scott Morrison finally gave us an optimistic message for the future and a policy choice that helps to define the difference between the Coalition and Labor. And he did it yesterday, just 6 days from the election. They need more policy differentiation, of course, but this is something. And there's only 5 days to sell it and win over undecided voters. The bottom line is that helping people into the housing market is always more about politics than economics. The easier you make it for people to get in, the more pressure you'll put on the market. What governments really need to do, that's state and local governments, is open up more land, lift planning restrictions and lower taxes. That's the way to boost housing supply and make it more affordable. But in the absence of that, Labor has tried to tap into the housing affordability issue with a crazy scheme where the government would take a 40% stake in your house. They'd own the house with you, and that will always create a bit of a muddle. Even weeks later, Labor's leadership is confused by its own policy.
It's not complicated at all, Barnaby. It might be complicated for you. It's pretty simple, actually.
Is it taxable income or gross income? Tanya, just tell me, which one is it?
Barnaby, honestly, you are not interested in helping young Australians into a home of their own.
Can you explain your own policies, Tanya? It's your policy. Wow. It's the last week of the election. Is it taxable or gross income, Tanya? No idea.
Tanya?
Crickets.
Barnaby,
incredible. You guys are incredible. You're just not across your stuff.
Tanya, can you answer that one?
This is about helping 10,000 people into a home of their own.
Look, it's complicated. Everyone's trying to work it out. Tanya, can you answer that one?
It's their income. It's their taxable income. I don't know why it's so complicated for Barnaby.
So they're gross.
Okay,
income.
so if someone, their advisor just told her.
Yeah, I think Barnaby might have been right. Someone might have slipped up a note or something. What a shambles. Now, the beauty of the government's new policy announced yesterday is that by allowing access to up to $50,000 of their super, first home buyers get a leg up with their own money, their own savings.
This is about increasing the choices available to you within your super. It's your money to allow you to invest in your first home.
Yeah, it's great policy, and it doesn't hurt super savings because, well, firstly, it helps people on the path to home ownership, the one fundamental and tax-free investment of their life. And then when they sell their home to upgrade or whatever, that super deposit and the capital gain on it goes back into their super. So it's a neat policy. And even better for the Coalition because Labor are wedded to the compulsory superannuation industry and the unions that are so closely involved, so Labor can't support it. It's been stuck now in a position that refuses to let people use their own super for their own home ownership.
This is an attack on future savings. It's an attack on future generations. It's not about assisting people.
Just rot, isn't it? Interesting too is that Labor and their acolytes in the media bang on now about this policy driving housing prices up. If that's the case, it has to be equally true of Labor's policy. Yet the media tended not to go with that angle about their policy. Why not? Truth be told, as I said, both policies can only add to market pressures, but neither's going to do that in a significant way. And besides, the property boom is already easing. The bottom line is that Labor does not trust you to make your own decisions about how best to use just 40% of your own super savings, up to a maximum of just 50 grand. It's your money, you've earned it, but Labor doesn't want you to be allowed to use it. They'd rather the government owns 40% of your home. Remember, no one has to do this. It's your choice, your option, as it should be. That's why this is such a good policy. It helps first home buyers, it protects their future, and it exposes Labor as being on the side of big government, compulsion, and stopping people making their own choices about their own money. The only problem with this policy is why we didn't get it a week or two ago. Sure, the Liberals needed to save something for the campaign launch, but really, the government could have done with more than a week to sell this.